at the University of Michigan softball, and I'm not sure if you want to elaborate on that. No, okay, because you introduced her. All right, very good. Okay, we'll recognize you, ma'am, for 5 minutes.
Subcommittee Chairman Bill Rackus, Ranking Member Schakowsky, and members of the subcommittee. I would like to begin by expressing my gratitude for holding this hearing and for the opportunity to be here in Washington to express my opinions on the ever-evolving landscape that is collegiate athletics. And a special thanks to Congresswoman Dingell, who represents the University of Michigan, for allowing me to share my name, image, and likeness experience with all of you. My name is Caitlin Tholl, but most refer to me as Keke. I'm a senior student athlete at the University of Michigan, where I'm studying business at the Stephen M. Ross School of Business. I'm a captain of the University of Michigan softball team, and I currently serve as vice president of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. Additionally, I serve on the athletic department's advisory board for intercollegiate athletics. My testimony today represents my own personal experiences and opinions and isn't reflective on my institution, my sport, my conference, or the NCAA. NIL became allowable by the NCAA at the start of my second year of college. At the start, the rules regarding NIL were vague and unclear. Conceptually, I felt NIL was a great opportunity for student athletes, but I feared doing something wrong and not even realizing it. There were several unknowns that emerged. How do I do taxes? Who do I report these things to? How do I know a company is a good company? The spring of my sophomore year, I felt comfortable signing a contract with a company called Blue by 90, which made customized merchandise for University of Michigan student athletes. The deal was very low maintenance, and the company I worked with made me feel valued. Yet, even with the experience of one deal, I was hesitant to pursue anything much beyond this local opportunity. I felt I could not handle the workload of softball, school, social life, and managing additional NIL opportunities. Thankfully, the University of Michigan hired staff to support and educate student athletes in NIL, and U of M has identified institutional resources and a framework for student athletes to feel more confident stepping into the NIL space. For example, I've been able to work with the University of Michigan's Law School Entrepreneurship Clinic to have contracts reviewed and, in one case, renegotiated prior to signing NIL opportunities. As student athletes, we're not equipped to navigate legal battles with companies, nor are we likely financially able to do so. This is a significant risk in the NIL space. Thus, NIL education is critically important consideration for student athletes who might not have the means to hire an agent. As at the start of my college NIL experience, the rules regarding NIL remain vague and unclear. There are still critical questions and guardrails for Congress to consider. The variety of state laws and legislative proposals seem to address the use of NIL and recruiting differently, therefore allowing some institutions to bring up NIL with a recruit. My fear in this practice is around how promises to student athletes are being made. And while I understand the notion that employment status for student athletes can mean the opportunity to share in revenue, there are significant concerns I don't fully understand the implication of. Insurance, healthcare, retirement, minimum wage, unions, pensions, salary bands, human resources. Are student athletes at will employees? Will scholarships be removed? What wage will be offered to pay for college? How will employees be taxed? Will the athletic departments match a 401k plan? Finally, in the new NIL landscape, especially in regard to collectives, how does compliance with the principles of Title IX apply? No one seems to be sure, and thus no one is enforcing compliance. Women's sports has come so far, and yet I fear NIL can push us backwards. The goal for Congress should be to ensure an even playing field for all institutions and protect all student athletes' well-being, mentally, physically, and financially. Being able to get an education while playing a game that I am passionate about is what was and continues to be the most important to me. I am one athlete out of thousands of collegiate student athletes throughout the country. I know there are many voices that want and need to be heard. I would ask the members of Congress before me today, how many athletes have you spoken with on this topic? I encourage you all to seek out more coaches and athletes as you work to shape legislation that ultimately has the college athletic experience top of mind. Thank you again for inviting me to testify before you today so that my voice can be heard. I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to begin a conversation which hopefully will create action and drive change.
Thank you very much. The gentlelady yields back.